Live from Nation Center, this is AM Live.
The pivotal election scheduled for August the 8th is just a month away, and it is understandable that temperatures are running high as the various parties prepare for the vote. At the center of considerable attention is the past week and has been the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the body which bears the heavy duty of delivering a free, fair and credible election. It is noteworthy that this election comes exactly 10 years after the disastrous 2007 presidential election, when botched tallying off the votes resulted in a campaign of intercommunal killings and a brutal response from the police which left more than 1,100 people dead. The duty on the shoulders of the electoral commissioners is therefore a heavy one. They must ensure that the 2017 election goes smoothly and that the outcome of the vote gives confidence to the unsuccessful candidate to concede defeat. It is unfortunate that disputes among the political class meant that the current commission was only installed in February, just 6 months before the election. The commission has done a reasonable job of preparing for the election within the tight timelines it operates in. However, it should engage closely with all players, the candidates at the national and the county levels, observers, civil society, among others, to make clear how it is preparing for the election, are the safeguards in place for a free and fair vote. Politicians who have significant clout and can have a big impact on the behavior of their supporters should weigh their words carefully when discussing the Electoral Commission to avoid creating a situation that breeds gloom and doom and diminishes trust in the overall process. Also, the IBC should continue to communicate rapidly with the public when questions are raised, including about the glitches that marred the recent rollout of the voter registration database. Kenya cannot afford to get the management of the general election wrong. The cost of the violence in 2007 in human terms and also to the economy were unbearably high. Of course, that will be the basis of a discussion and a raft of other issues here on This Is a Point today on AM Live. I will lay me down to sleep and I will awake again because the good Lord sustains me. That was the Psalms of the Bible, chapter 3, that says that. And of course, seeing you this morning also is a good indication that the good Lord is sustaining us. It is Monday, the 3rd of July, a new month, and of course also a new day for us here on AM Live. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot lined up for you today. Of course, this is a point which will be happening this morning. But before we even drill deeper, let's see what is on the front pages of the dailies this morning, looking at the good, the bad and the ugly. We begin with the Daily Nation, and this is your splash today. Jubilee on the spot over unfair tactics, it says. Uhuru's party accused of exploiting incumbency to gain advantage over political rivals. Human Rights Watch accuses state agencies of undermining the constitution by openly getting involved in political campaigns. Kenya Revenue Authority, the police, NGOs coordinating board, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, and the Electoral Agency as some of the organizations that have shown open bias towards ruling party ahead of the August 8th poll. That story is tucked away on page 6 of the Daily Nation. I don't have 5 billion shillings, says Garissa Governor Nathif Jama. Yesterday denied that his bank account has been frozen by the High Court and accused the anti-corruption agency of working with his rivals to frustrate him. His story continues on page 8 of today's Daily Nation. Also, you can see on the front pages or on the front page of the Daily Nation, Orange Democratic Movement members show their support for NASA presidential candidate Raila Odinga during a political rally addressed by Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho and other opposition leaders in Homa Bay town yesterday, and also side by side with it is supporters of Mandera Governor Ali Roba chanting campaign slogans at Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi yesterday. Mr. Roba is fighting for re-election on a Jubilee ticket. That story also continues inside the Daily Nation today. Let's see what we have on the front page of the Standard. This is also your splash today. Raila's tight schedule, 35 days to go. It says tough week ahead. Over the next 7 days, NASA team will be in Kericho, Kitui, Nairobi and Kiambu, among other areas, as they seek to meet the two vital constitutional thresholds on being declared winner, 50% plus one and 25% of votes cast in at least 24 counties. That story continues on page 5 of the Standard today. Civil servants, teachers, new battlefront, over 134 billion shillings paid deal, it says. And you can follow that also inside the Standard this morning. We see also the Star. And this is a splash today. How politicians are enriching witch doctors, it says. Elixir for election, potions, politics, medicine, men cast whole spells. Ride a crocodile, wear a python, strip naked for juju, have symbols cut into the tongue. That is how it goes. And you can see also a depiction of that, or graphic, or yes, illustration of what really happens. Chapa Maji, you can see a razor blade and other magics, of course, the witchcraft fetishes and paraphernalia there. That story is tucked away on page 4 and 5 of the Star this morning. The People Daily is up next. Not really the People Daily. Yes, the People Daily is up next. How Jubilee NASA may lose safe seat, it says. Intense inter-party rivalry within ruling and opposition parties might see candidates call in on goals by default, I should say, causing headache to the leading presidential contenders. That story, the story is tucked on page 4 and 5 of the People Daily today. Also, we are set to go. Uhuru assures EU poll team. President says all institutions involved in ensuring smooth election have done their part in readiness for the August 8th exercise. And that story is tucked away on page 6 of the People Daily this morning. Let's see what we have on the front page also of Taifa Leo. This is the splash today. Nani mzito? A question mark there. Hali yaonyesha ushindani mkali baina ya Rais Uhuru na Raila Odinga. 5.3 million voters, idadi ya wapiga kura wapya waliosajiliwa baina ya uchaguzi uliopita na ujao kulingana na IEBC. That is the story, and you can follow this story on page 2 of Taifa Leo. I have also the Business Daily for you, and this is what it holds today. Nakumatt fights to stop auctioneers in rent wars, it says. Debt wars. Court battle reveals retail chain owes Thika Road Mall 51 million shillings, and that story continues on page 4 of the Business Daily this morning. Also, new rules for states to own mining farms, it says. There is a story there that you need to follow on page 4 of the Business Daily. And tight security. We can see police officers keeping a watchful eye on participants during a meeting between Mandera Governor Ali Roba and his supporters at the National Stadium in Nairobi yesterday. Campaigns fever have gripped the country as Kenyans prepare to go to the polls on August the 8th. That is a story. Also, Kenya-US signed deal to fight cybercrime, it says. Kenya and the United States have formed a partnership to fight cybercrime that has in recent months become a big threat to governments and private business around the world. That story continues on page 4 of the Business Daily this morning. Allow me to cross over to the borders, and we have Uganda with the Daily Monitor there. School demands, minister battles, conflict of interest. At Siaya High School, one of the high-flying private schools owned by State Education Minister, that is John Christentom Munyingo, a list of school requirements cost a parents between 700,000 Ugandan shillings and 1 million shillings in addition to fees. That story also continues on page 5 of the Daily Monitor in Uganda. Also, Nakumatt closes 3 branches in Uganda. It says that new month has started with uncertain future for Uganda's largest retailer, Nakumatt, after the real estate agency managing the 3 shopping malls terminated the tenancy agreement on June 28th. Knight Frank terminated the tenancy agreements of Nakumatt at Acacia Mall, Village Mall, Bugolobi, and Entebbe Mall. That story also on page 6 of the Daily Monitor in Uganda. We still can look also what we have across the borders with the citizen in Tanzania. How Tanzania will benefit from 926 billion shillings, Tanzanian shillings, that is, port project. The huge investment will see waiting time at bats slashed from an average of 80 hours to only 30 hours. The project is expected to enhance trade both locally and within the East African Community and South African Development Community regions. That story continues on page 2 of the Citizen in Tanzania. Still in Tanzania, we have also the Mwananchi Magufuli shukia Lowassa. It says ni kujibu kauli yake kuhusu watu walio maabusu kwa tuhuma za kufanya jinai. Ashangaa vichwa 15 vya treni kushushwa bandarini bila ya miliki kujulikana. That is a story that you want to follow also inside the Mwananchi in Tanzania. Also, we have the New Times in Rwanda, and this is a splash today. New fund for constructing affordable homes approved. Cabinet has approved a new 290 billion Rwandan francs affordable housing fund that will help to put up houses for low-income earners payable over a long-term period. The resolution was taken on Friday. That story continues on page 3 of the New Times in Rwanda. And we have also I want to show you what we have on the front page of the New York Times. Allow me just to head over there to lift it for you. This is how it looks, the International New York Times. Actually, this is a national edition. And it's all about a freed bats, scared city tests Trump. Many corpses and few services as US 6 post-ISIS plan in Syria. Also, EPA heads erases Obama-era rules in blazing start. That is another story. And complex grief after rampage by a loved one. That is a story that you can follow also inside the New York Times. We have the editorials cartoons for you. But before I head there as well, this is how, I want to show you what is on the front page of the New York Times. Game of Thrones inside the world's most popular show. This is how it looks. But I can show you clearly also how, so that you can see it enlarged a bit on, well, it's fusing. But we'll have shown you also what is on, how it looks clearly on the big screen. And this is what Standard has drawn for you inside the People Daily. Lecturers strike, nurses strike. That is what you have. I leave it for you to decipher. It's self-explanatory. And this is how it looks also inside the Daily Nation today. According to IGA, election promises going back to the garbage bin. There is nothing new compared to NASA and Jubilee manifestos, they say. And this is what that has been captured by Munene inside the Daily Nation today. So you can grab a copy of the Daily Nation, grab a copy of the Standard, the Star, the People Daily, or whichever paper that really floats your boat. But for now, let's put this horse into full run by looking at the highlights. Jubilee MPs call for a larger voter turnout in Nakuru as NASA leaders also demand large turnout in Homa Bay. Munya says government administrators are being used to frustrate his campaigns. And Sudan doctors urge measures against cholera outbreak. At least 12 people were injured, property destroyed, and cases of robbery recorded after 2 rival groups clashed while protesting. A court ruling that ordered ODM to conduct fresh primaries for the MCA seat in Utalii ward in Mathare. The repeat nomination exercise, which was to happen yesterday, did not due to the violence that rocked the area. Clashes that started on Saturday evening after a court order to repeat the ODM primaries for member of County Assembly rocked Utalii area. Rowdy youth and criminals took advantage of a cover of darkness and turned what were political protests into a looting spree. Some property were set ablaze and bonfires lit on the feeder roads to block security officers from accessing the area. Supporters of Abel Osumba Atito, who was declared the winner, was after trouncing the incumbent Wilson Ochola, saying that they read mischief after the court made the ruling. They said it was too close to the August 8th general election to repeat the exercise.
Mimi kijana wangu jana alitoka kasi jioni. Alinyang'anywa ID, akanyang'anywa simu, hakujua kama kuna vita.
The opponent of Ochola hataki watu warudie kura. Juu yeye ndio alipewa certificate na anajua tukirudia kura atanyang'anywa certificate juu atashindwa uwazi.
Wangetu prepare psychologically ali kwamba you are going for an to repeat a nomination. Kile tumekataa tu ni kitumo. When we are going for another nomination ni kuraba stamp orange nyang'anye the winner ipe the loser, which we have refused and we are not going to entertain it any further.
The opponent brought us goons. They have been beating people, stealing everybody, banning videos. You see all these things have been banned by the opponent's people.
And Meru Governor Peter Munya has threatened to take a different political course if youth continue disrupting his political rallies in the county. Munya accuses his competitors in Jubilee of using the provincial administration to plan disruption with the aim of painting him as unpopular.
For the second day, Meru Governor Peter Munya camped in the Imenti area, campaigning for his re-election in the August duel. He was welcomed in Gedongo area of Imenti Central constituency. The rally in one of the regions perceived to be a Senator Kiraitu Muronge's stronghold was significant as he sought to show he was making inroads. The rally also came a day after youth tried to disrupt his meeting in Imenti South, where police were forced to shoot in the air to disperse them. Munya accuses his political rivals of planning the chaos.
Because enough is enough. I am tired of being followed by administrators, being harassed every day, my youth being arrested for nothing. When my meetings are being disrupted, nobody is arrested. I am increasingly getting tired. Na wasifikirie watanifuta hapa Meru. Mimi niko na misisi hapa Meru. Niko na misisi Meru bwana.
Najua wengine wakisikia hivyo temperature inapanda mara moja. Wacha ipande hata kama ni kupasuka ipasu. Lakini sisi hatubabaiki.
Kura ni haki ya kila mtu na ile mtu mwenyewe ndiye anajua pahali ataipeleka. Sisi ni watu wa kuuza manifesto, sio watu wa kusema maneno mingi.
Youth tried yet again to disrupt the rally as Munya was addressing the crowd. Police were forced to use tear gas canisters to disperse the youth who seemed to have been programmed.
If they continue with this business of using state functionaries to harass my people in Meru and disrupt my meetings, I will rethink my stand on this politics.
Mambo ya kuchokozi tusemeka kando. Hakuna kuchokoza mwingine na hakuna kuleta vitina.
The PNU team has also taken issue with leaders within Jubilee, whom they have accused of frustrating the party's efforts by putting roadblocks on its way in the form of court cases. A notice had been put in the newspapers denouncing Munya as the party leader and the entire group of officials. The notice said that former President Mwai Kibaki was still the bona fide party leader.
Hapo huko na wakili wawili, Imanyara na Mheshimiwa Munya. Unafikiria tunaweza kushinda na hao watu kweli? Wameweka kesi 15 na hakuna kesi moja wamewahi kutushinda.
Governor Munya says he is unfazed by the planned violence that is now characterizing his meetings, insisting that it is his track record that will give him re-election in the August elections. Kennedy Muredi, NTV in Meru County.
And members of parliament from Mount Kenya and the South Rift allied to the Jubilee Party have dismissed the opposition NASA, saying it has nothing new to offer this country after having worked in the government for many years in different capacities. Meanwhile, their colleagues at the coast campaigned for President Uhuru Kenyatta's re-election bid.
Wao ndio wafisadi wale wakubwa na wamekuwa ni chui, wamejificha kwa ngozi ya kondoo.
So they are not the best lecturers to lecture us about corruption.
Tushikane, tuseme hataki kunaswa. Unajua kunaswa nini? Ni mtegwe. Ujitoke au omaruo.
Kuna difference kidogo sana kati ya Uhuru na Raila kwa kura. Ukikosa kutokea, huyu bwana anaweza kupita katikati pamoja na Kalonzo na hao watu wengine.
Nataka nimwambie si kuzuri. Si mchezo kwa sababu ile mambo tunaona si mzuri. Nataka kuuliza nyinyi muamuke tarehe 8 mpigie Uhuru kura warudi State House.
Hakuna mtu ataleta ngwengwengwe mwaka huu. Na ule ambaye atajifanya ati yeye ana vikundi anapanga atakiona, my friend.
Sisi ni viongozi wa chama region. Na ikiwa hatuna uwezo wa kuuliza appointment na yeye, basi tutakaa chini tuamue tena way forward yetu.
And NASA leaders have criticized the Jubilee government for failing to empower the youth. Speaking during a series of rallies in Hobby, the leaders, who included Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho, asked the youth to turn out in large numbers to ensure a NASA win.
The young people of this country, everything that has been stolen from young people. Starting with NYS, they stole from young people.
But this government is not serving the interest of the young people. They promised a lot, and they told us in Parliament that at the end of their term, there will be no single youth who will be unemployed.
Usema mimi nimekuja hapa kuhakikisha kwamba vijana kumi tujitolea to go door to door to ensure siku hiyo vijana wametoa kina mama wazazi kwamba kupiga nini kura.
And we have seen that you want to rig elections, and we are not going to joke with you. We are not going to allow you. Tell us why when we send 0 number, the names that come are only from one region. And make yourself clear. You are not going to be used to rape from by Jubilee.
Tunataka IBC waweke majina ya watu wote kwa notice board hapa Homa. Watu waangalie ni nani polisi, ni nani AP, ni nani GSU. Kwa sababu safari hii wanacheza na moto, ndugu yangu. Safari hii wanacheza na moto. Safari hii tutawapisha Raila Odinga kwa njia yoyote.
And Siaya County Returning Officer Ruth Kalundu has suspended campaigns in the county for 7 days owing to the chaos that erupted in Rieda during Raila Odinga's rally. Kalundu said no candidate from the governor position to MCA will conduct campaigns in Siaya from July the 1st to July the 7th.
Speaking during a meeting that brought together some of the Siaya County candidates, Siaya County Returning Officer Ruth Kalundu warned that hefty punishment awaits those who will defy her order. Kalundu clarified that her ban will continue after July 7th if there will be no sign of tolerance among Siaya County candidates. It is said that supporters from both sides of the political divide have been damaging opponents' posters and pulling down campaign banners, which is a threat to peace.
If you listen to my words,
all Siaya County security team members attended the meeting led by County Commissioner Josephine Onunga. During the meeting, emotions ran high as candidates played victim, claiming to have been offended in one way or another.
The truth of the matter is that ODM is bullying other candidates in this county, and we have to call a spade a spade.
Fortunately, I have had a lot of abuses. I will produce them to you. I have been a very kind person. But the abuses of being a thief, you know, may not even make somebody leave this place. Because I am not the one that they're abusing. You are abusing a leg of people. Do you get it? That Rasanga is a thief. Surely if I'm a thief, why don't you take me to court?
The returning officer asked politicians to observe the code of conduct they signed before nominations. She also warned them against dishing out money to capture voters, saying those found will face the full force of the law. Bongo, NTV.
And barely a day after head lifters were distributed in some parts of Uasin Gishu County, threatening members of certain communities of dire consequences if they do not vote for certain leaders, Nandi County Jubilee Party nominee for Senate Kiprotich Cherargei has warned fellow politicians against using threats to seek votes. Cherargei said the move amounted to taking Kenyans back to the dark period of 2007-2008. He said Uasin Gishu was a cosmopolitan county, hence the need for all members of different communities to be allowed to go about their businesses peacefully before and after the election. He was speaking after attending a church service at Worldwide Full Gospel Church in Eldoret.
We must continue preaching peace And we want to urge the leaders who come from this county and even North Rift that they should be cognizant, they should be aware that this region has 42 tribes. And therefore their thinking, their behavior, their talking, their campaigns must be issue-based, not ethnic-based. And therefore when we hear comments that border incitement against other communities, we get worried because we don't want to go where we were in 2007, 2008.
And President Uhuru Kenyatta has assured the European Union Election Observation Mission that Kenya is ready for the August 8th elections. The president said all the institutions involved in ensuring that the elections are conducted smoothly have done their part in readiness for the exercise. The president said the government has taken measures to ensure that the polls are credible, free and fair, as well as ensuring that the country will be safe during and after the polls. He was speaking during a meeting with the head of the EU Election Observation Mission to Kenya, who paid him a courtesy call at State House, Nairobi. Earlier last week, the EU Election Observation Mission deployed 30 long-term election observers to 13 locations across Kenya to assess various aspects of the election process, including the legal framework, election administration, voter registration, and media coverage, among other areas. Thirdway Alliance presidential candidate Dr. Ekuru Aukot has criticized President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying his regime has been the most corrupt of all those that have served, and called upon Kenyans to vote him out because he has betrayed Kenyans by not living to his promise of fighting corruption. Dr. Akuru spoke in Naivasha, Nakuru County, in his first rally after launching his manifesto. He believes he will clinch the presidency if Kenyans consider issues and not tribes in their voting.
Pesa inaenda kwa mifuko ya watu wachache. Unasikia? Ule mtu ambaye mimi nataka kumngoa katika mamlaka mwezi ujao amesimamia wizi ya mali ya umma kwa miaka 5. Huyo ni mtu mtakubali arudi tena kweli?
Polls, yes, indicate that they are popular. But popularity based on what? I mean, we like Kenyans to ask their tough questions. What makes President Uhuru and Raila popular when they have actually been tested? These are leaders who have been tested. The problems that we are now seeking to address actually have been brought by them.
Hapa na tumechagua hapa makusudi. Tumechagua Kasarani kwa sababu Kasarani tumeambiwa ndio kuna makabila 42 yako hapa. Na sisi tumekuja, tumewaona na tumefurahia kwamba nyote mnaishi nyote kwa amani. Ekuru Ekuru Kasarani Kasarani
Machakos County Senator Johnson Muthama is set to spearhead National Super Alliance campaigns in Nairobi County ahead of the August 8th polls, addressing a gathering of Kamba community members at the City Stadium in Nairobi. Senator Muthama said his appointment was meant to ensure that the Kamba community rallies behind opposition presidential candidate Raila Odinga and his running mate Kalonzo Musyoka, and also ensure that Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero and his deputy Jonathan Mweke get a second term in the capital, and that henceforth he will pitch tent in Nairobi until after the elections. Governor Kidero, speaking at the same event, said that another term in office will give him time to complete the projects he had initiated, saying his administration was frustrated for the first 3 years through court suit and interference from his opponents.
Legacy ya Mheshimiwa Kalonzo sieva ela tunaisi itokedwa na serikali ya muungano.
Nawaambia itakuwa uchaguzi safi usio wa kuiba kura za wananchi. Lakini wakiiba hizo kura, hadi nasikia Kaiseri anasema hata sikiibiwa tulale ndani ya nyumba. Hadi tusiongee. Mimi nakwambia Kaiseri, angalia Muthama ni mtu wa kwanza. Ikiibiwa Mulama atakuwa mtu wa kwanza kusema simeibiwa na ikubaliwi.
Kuna vingine ambavyo vilifanyika, watu wakakuja kuleta kerere ofisi yetu. Unfortunately, whatever happened. Ya tatu, tukaanza kufuatiwa na hii na ile. Hatujapata nafasi nzuri ya kufanya kazi, lakini foundation ya kuendelea mbele tumeweka. Na vile Mweke amewauliza na amewaambia mtupatie nafasi tumalize ile kazi ambayo tumeanza.